welcome to this video. On May 15th at 4:47 a.m. Pacific time, there is a new moon in Taurus happening. And this new moon in Taurus will be opposite Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio. So ultimately what this will be bringing up for us is the shadow aspects of our belief systems. So this could be through the form of other people, and it's interesting because, Taurus rules our values, and both the sun and the moon will be there. So we will be very strong within our values, but there may be things that we need to look at within our belief systems that may just need to be tweaked a little bit or transformed into something a bit more cohesive or expansive, especially when it comes to just looking at things from another perspective. And then the new moon will also be trining Pluto retrograde in Capricorn and Mars in Capricorn. So with this combination of things, what this is doing is having us confront the places where we are giving away our power and possibly using money as a way to not take responsibility for our lives as much, because Taurus rules money. So with the Mars-Pluto conjunction, it can be about where we are giving away our power a bit, or where we're not taking a hold of our destiny fully. And sometimes we use money as an excuse to not be responsible for our lives because we don't have enough money to do this or that. So that's an issue that many of us have. It could also be about dealing with authority figures, how you deal with authority figures, and how you approach authority figures. So the reality is, humans are all just, technically we all have the same amount of power, but because of society and the systems and structures that are in place, we put some people in these positions of authority, which is kind of an interesting thing. And it's an interesting thing to look at maybe within your own psyche of what your view of that is and how you feel about that. And yes, we actually do have to be careful when it comes to how we approach authority, because obviously we don't want to put our own livelihood at risk and whatnot. But it's also something to consider, and I always remember deep inside that, authority figures are human. You know what I mean? Like, I always think, oh yeah, they're playing a role, that's what they're doing, they're doing whatever it is. But having these positions of authority within itself, though, does create corruption. Oh, the new moon is also semi-sextile Uranus in Aries, which will be moving later on that day, and also semi-sextile Venus in Gemini. So it's right in between the two, semi-sextiling those two planets. And they are actually sextile each other, Venus and Uranus. So Venus and Uranus combination there, with Aries and Gemini involved, is bringing amazing creativity, ideas, and with Uranus and Aries, this is like the time to really become more like certain about the things that you have, the insights you've been receiving. And then also Venus and Gemini can be about communicating those things. With the moon in Taurus and the sun in Taurus smack dab between those things, it's kind of like needing to stand stronger in your values and be certain and strong within what it is you stand for among those ideas, because Venus and Gemini can be somewhat scattered and curious and follow many different things. With Venus and Gemini, it is kind of like more curious, looks into many different things, and it doesn't necessarily stand very strong. It keeps its mind open. And with Uranus and Aries, it's about bringing ideas into action. So this can be both a point where you need to become strong within the values that you hold, and also ground in the ideas that you're getting. So take action and bring it into reality. So that's kind of what that whole little combination is doing. And then Neptune in Pisces is trine Jupiter in Scorpio within 1 degree. So Jupiter trine Neptune, Jupiter retrograde trine Neptune, Jupiter in Scorpio trine Neptune. So Jupiter is like, it's like going in right now. It's going like deep into the depths of Scorpio and the depths of your psyche, into your soul, into the darkness, into the hidden places. And it's also accessing deeper parts of your intuition. And so this is a time where the exploration into spirituality can be very beneficial and very insightful, and it's all about feeling right now. It's all about feeling into things, feeling into yourself, feeling into the deeper energies within yourself and also within the collective. And so this can be a time for tapping into your intuition and really exploring deeper into the unconscious mind and accessing information and symbolic information often, because I always think of Neptune and Pisces in the 12th house as being very symbolic, and Jupiter too, I think, is very symbolic. So it's a very symbolic kind of thing where, dream dictionaries, our dreams, for instance, contain many symbols. So this can be a time for exploring dreams and understanding your dreams, and anything that involves any kind of symbolism kind of accesses that unconscious mind. So exploring any sort of symbolism can be very interesting, beneficial, and insightful at this time. So, and especially exploring within yourself, and maybe even, writing, like getting a dream journal and writing your dreams down for a while to kind of understand like the deeper aspects of what's going on with you unconsciously could be a really good idea. And getting a dream dictionary as well is always fun. I actually do have like a little story about that. When I was reading my dream dictionary, I was looking at my dreams like every day for a while. One of my dreams, towards like the end of that time, or when I was deeply doing that, was of me like taking a flashlight and looking into water at fish that were underwater. And I looked up the symbolism of that, and it was like, you're looking into your unconscious mind, of course, because fish, water, and then the flashlight is like shining a light into that unconscious mind. I just thought that was weird. So anyways, Mars in Capricorn is square Uranus and Aries as they both change signs. Mars moves into Aquarius and Uranus moves into Taurus, forming an exact square in their newly found placements. That's how I wrote it on here. So, yeah, with Mars square Uranus, okay, so Mars rules Aries, okay, and Uranus kind of has an association with Capricorn just because Uranus rules Aquarius and Saturn used to be the original ruler of Aquarius, but it's not as important. But the one thing I really wanted to focus on here was the fact that Mars in an Earth sign is moving into Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, okay? And then Uranus is moving into an Earth sign, Taurus. So that is pretty interesting too. So The main thing that I have been thinking about with this transition happening is that Mars has been almost like held up a little bit in Capricorn. There's been almost like very slow moving. There may have been like long-term strides that have been accomplished, but it's been feeling so slow in terms of the action that we've been taking. Once it moves into Aquarius, the action is going to speed up. And then Uranus has been in fast-moving Aries, and now it's moving into slow-moving Taurus, which means that things are going to be slowing down, grounding in when it comes to the ideas that are coming to us and the insights that have been coming to us. And many of the other things that I wanted to talk about with Uranus and Taurus is that the energy is going to get a lot more physical, and there's going to be more earth energy going on, more shifts in the earth. The changes in the physical are going to be faster paced, but things will be slowed down so that the physical can catch up with it, because Taurus is a slow moving earth sign. So it is one of those things where the insights that are coming to us are not going to be moving as fast, but they will be more integrated and implemented into physical reality. So many other things that I want to talk about with this too is like innovation in technology. I think is very likely. There could be innovation that is more luxurious or like aimed towards our, creature comforts. And something that I thought was really funny is Elon Musk is talking about, I don't know if he's going to do it, but he's talking about making a candy company. I just think that's hilarious because, okay, when Uranus was in Aries, Aries is ruled by Mars, and vehicles are kind of under the Mars category of things, like it's kind of one of those things. So I'm thinking that Elon Musk may even add more luxury to his vehicles, possibly. And also, the SpaceX thing was like another thing, because he eventually wants to go to Mars, and Mars rules Aries. So anyways, that's kind of weird too, right? But now that Uranus is moving into Taurus, he's talking about a candy company. What the, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's funny, right? I don't know. Okay, Mars square Uranus is kind of like this tension that has been building up around taking action on the things that we've been getting insights about, like taking action on. So there could be some things that happen in regards to that. When Mars moves into Aquarius and Uranus moves into Taurus, it's like the action may get started and it will be more of a grounding kind of thing. But there is also some tension still going on between Mars and Uranus. So there could be some amount of chaotic energies. It could even be issues with friendships coming up because of Mars, being in Aquarius, and Uranus moving into Taurus. Taurus is known for being pretty stubborn. So there could be issues around like where you stand on certain issues and stuff like that, where maybe you just kind of rile things up. But it could also be some kind of thing where maybe you want to start a group around some of the values that you hold. And I think Uranus and Taurus is going to have us creating more community around our values a lot more. And maybe even around money. Who knows? Like maybe there will be more like communes starting. I don't know. And maybe growing thing, like where people are growing food and stuff like that. Like I think like of community around something physical, where people are actually, making something happen, where they're kind of like, creating a community around it. So I do think there will be more community in the physical occurring, and things of that nature, especially because Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is, of course, when it comes to the Taurus interpretation, usually it's around the values and the creativity and the beauty and everything like that. But I think that there is a relationship aspect to it, because we're moving from Aries, like the self, into Taurus, which is like kind of starting to bring other people on board, and also you know, kind of like the physical objects and stuff. Like, it is kind of more around like the physical objects, but I think that it'll also kind of have that people effect as well. So maybe, just maybe, there will be more unity occurring, or, you know, community occurring. All right. And then, you know, and right now it's not exactly the right time for that because of the Mars and Aquarius thing. It might be a little more challenging at this time because of the square going on. But eventually, I think that, you know, as Mars moves on, it'll eventually just kind of create more of that sense of being able to form something of that nature. And then Mercury and Uranus, both in Taurus, are semi-sextile Chiron and Aries, and then Mars and Aquarius sextiles Chiron and Aries. So Mercury conjunct Uranus is very insightful, and we will be getting some really earth-shaking ideas that may just change a lot of different things. Of course, in my original thing, I was talking about the monetary system as well being affected by this Uranus and Taurus. There could be more of an integration effect with the cryptocurrency and the you know, traditional currency situation. But I think the interesting thing with cryptocurrency is that it doesn't have a country. It doesn't have like anything, you know, tied to any place. So it's a bit more solid. But I think that if it's, you know, I think it's possible that people might transition from the traditional in a way where it's kind of using crypto as the value of, like, the valuation of things. I mean, who knows? Maybe the monetary systems will become more united, especially because, you know, Uranus ruling Aquarius, it is a bit about uniting and becoming more like community based and stuff like that. So I think that's an interesting thought. You know, I don't know, you know, I'm not an expert on this stuff. I just you know, I'm just kind of like trying to put symbolism together and kind of consider all the possibilities of these things. But I think that'd be interesting if it did kind of be used as like a way to put value behind the money that we already have. We're getting insights into what kind of values we're holding and what kind of effect that actually has on community, which is actually good, because if you think about what kind of stuff has been going on with, you know, people and what they value and the way that it's affecting our friendships and our you know, sense of community, it's actually been really bad. So maybe Uranus and Taurus is going to help us to sort through some of that stuff. With it semi-sextile Chiron and Aries, of course this is all about wounds of our personality and our self and our ego a lot. Like, so the wounds we've been holding onto as a result of the impact that it has had on who we've become. So we need to heal certain parts of ourselves, certain parts of our personalities, become aware of those wounded parts of our personalities that are actually holding us back from being like true to who we really are. So this is a healing time for what our development has really brought, like our development into the person that we are. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Basically, you know, who we are as a result of our wounds and how we can become more ourselves by healing our wounds, because sometimes people develop personality things around the things that have happened to them, like things that actually are holding them back from being who they really are, because they're so focused on the wounds that have occurred. So this is a time for healing those things that are not allowing us to really be who we actually are, instead of the things where we're maybe playing a victim possibly, or even playing a martyr, because I know that, you know, it's moved out of Pisces, but Chiron itself has a very Piscean kind of quality in a way, because it's like the wounded healer, you know what I mean? So it has that martyr kind of thing going on. Me and my sister actually talked about this on the phone recently. So yeah, and I think that's kind of an interesting way to look at it as well. Like, where are we sacrificing ourselves too much too, like in terms of helping others, and maybe we're helping others and not looking at our own wounds at times, where we are maybe projecting our wounds onto others possibly. And then Mars in Aquarius sextiles Chiron in Aries. Basically, Mars in Aquarius can create an issue with like maybe arguments with friends, but also confronting things in a group or in a friendship, and also taking action on your dreams, taking action on the, you know, hopes and wishes and dreams that you have. So, and you know, it's actually a very humanitarian sign. So taking action in the name of humanitarian efforts could happen, and wanting to help people, like help people out and actually doing something about it. And maybe even becoming a bit more intense about that stuff, like because Mars is very, it can be a very zealous kind of thing, so like it can be very, like, you know, like it wants to defend its fellow humanity, the fellow humans on the planet. So it's like, gosh darn it, we gotta do something about it. Stuff like that. Anyways, alright, well, I've been having fun talking to you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have an awesome time.